Hello, and welcome to Outland Woodworks. My name is Shane, and today we're going to be installing the JessEm Mast-R-Lift 2 into our Harvey HW110S 52P. Let's get it going. Alright, we are dealing with a little bit of thunderstorms here, so if you hear some thunder in the background, that's what that would be. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring again. It just recently stopped. So first we're going to unbox this. Now this is the kit, and the kit came with the 10-piece ring caddy and set. And this is a lot of metal. We are going to set a towel down here. I am installing this into the RT800 Harvey table extension wing. Looks good. This out this packaging. I have a knife here. We have the crank. The tool to remove the rings. Take that out of the packaging. I will have a link in the description for all this stuff, or several links. And we have a lot of our mounting screws and our throat plates. This is the 2.5 inch. 2-inch, and a 1 3/8 comes with it if you don't get the extra kit. This is again all of our knobs and screws. So let's get our instructions out and take a read and see where we go from here. Okay, so we've gotten everything out. We pulled our router over. We are using the Bosch 1617 in this particular installation. Whether or not I stick with that model, time will determine. So the first step they want you to do is locate your specific router you'll be using in a chart that they provide. Now for the Bosch 1617, we know we want to use F4 for a particular router. So 4 on the clamping block is this hole here, this one closest to the center. So we're going to go ahead and pull these pins out. Okay, so after I've removed the first clamping block, in the book they refer to on the diagram the carriage and the clamping block. This is the clamping block. The carriage is the part underneath. There are 4 holes in these. There are 2, 4, 6, 7 holes in the carriage. So when this says F4, I want the number 4 slot on my clamping block, and I want F on my carriage, and then I'll put these bolts back in. So we'll get all those switched over, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have all those relocated to their position, we are going to take the router crank that came with it. We are going to get our carriage assembly to its, what installed will be its highest position, and put our router motor in place. Crank this just until the carriage assembly gets to the top position. And I'm not going to force it there, I'm just letting it butt up against the rubber O-rings. Then they want you to take the same crank and put it in the screw and force these apart. We'll see if that's enough here in a second. And they want you to take your motor and you put it in the hole until the bottom of your router is level with the bottom of this plate. You want to rotate the router so that when it's setting in there, the controls are facing the direction that you want. On this particular machine, they're all right here, so I want to rotate that, which now my cord is in the way. There we go. And there is a very large screw right there, so you may have to move to one side or the other. I will be installing the RTDC Harvey dust collector under this, and off the top of my head I'm not positive where that vents. Let me grab that and look real quick and make sure that the access panel is where I think it is. Be right back. Okay, so I did have a look at that at the RTDC dust collection cabinet for the RT800 on the Harvey HW110S, and the access panel, if you're standing here in front of the saw, is on the right pretty much the entire width, so I could put it in either place and I would be fine. I think that I'm going to leave it right there where it's at, which would be facing, kind of facing the logo over here. And again, I want to flush that up and let those clamps come back in. Okay, so this is something more specific to the RT800. Each router table will vary. With the RT800 on Harvey, it comes with all of these screws to adjust your height. But I noticed when I looked at it that all of the Allen heads were up here, and on the bottom were the pins. Now, in my opinion, those are upside down. Now, this is not a practiced installation, so I'm assuming that, and what I did is I pulled all of these out and flipped them over so that the Allen heads are on the bottom, so that I can adjust the tension between the top and the bottom plate. So I just wanted to update you on that and let you know kind of what I did there. If that didn't work or whatever, I'll let you know. Okay, so now that we've gotten our table all set up and ready to go, we're now ready to drop it into the slot. Now I wanted to do this first. I'm going to take a rag and just lightly wipe any grime and debris. I'm leaving the factory oil and stuff on there to help protect it from oxidation, that are known as rust, which may technically be corrosion, oxidation. I don't know. One of you can tell me. That's pretty cleaned out. We will lower this into the slot. This is not that light with the router on it. Okay, that lowered into the hole. Next step they want us to do is to install our set screws. Now there should be 10 of them. And these 2 Allen wrenches were also supplied in the bag, which do fit that. So we are going to get these run down just to where they touch the tabletop. Okay, now that we've got all the set screws in, they want us to adjust what they call their snugger bars. There are 3 located in here, and we're going to loosen them, and we will be able to get all of this slop out of the table. So we're going to loosen that up, pull that firmly into the corner down here. When I tell you to lift it out, adjust, set, I'm going to try it this way. I think it'll work just fine. I'm just going to put the Allen in here and make sure my table is back, pushing forward and locking down. And for these, the same way, just the other direction, pulling to me, pushing this outward, Perfect. No movement at all in that. Okay, on to the next step. We've got all of our set screws installed around the outside. We've taken our 3 snugger bars and snugged up the table so it doesn't move at all in the slot. There is very little to begin with. Next, we're going to level this. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I was going to use the long straight edge, but instead, I think I'm going to just use a machinist square to get me going. It's a small, very handy to have in the shop. I recommend one or several. I need to get more myself. And what I'm going to do is just set this across the corners, and I'm going to adjust these until I get all the corners nice and flush with the rest of the table. Okay, now that I have all the corners pretty much where I want them, I'm going to make these center ones and just get them down to where they're touching the metal. And we're going to put in our corner screws. And the nuts for these 800s are in the table already. They are loose in there. I'm sure there's a little key or something you pull out to get them out. Okay, and I'm just getting them down. I'm not even tightening them, just to where they're touching. And this table is filthy. This is still all the factory grease and grime and my handprints everywhere. I haven't prepped the top yet. I won't do that until last. Okay, now that we've got all those very close, I am going to go ahead and grab my straight edge. Set these to the side so I don't knock them all over the place. Now what I have here is a 50-inch Tay-Tool straight edge. I'll leave a link for that in the description. And what I want to do is check the flatness of my table now all the way across. And it looks very, very good. There's a little bit on this end. I'm going to go to the underneath side and I'm going to run up all of those set screws that are in the table. And that takes a let's see, this is a 3mm for the table itself, and underneath here there's a ton of screws, so I will fast forward through this for you. Okay, now that all those feel good, we are going to get out our feeler gauge and check and see in the center how we are looking. The smallest one I have is an 8,000th. It's very close, not so close then I'm going to have to get the light out for it. And this is just a small LED light. You do see a little light on that end, all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back these out just a little bit, make sure I got enough room for adjustment. And then I'm going to take all my set screws and I'm basically going to hold my light behind it and I'm going to get down and adjust until I'm happy with where it's at. You just have to kind of go back and forth and work it all out, however accurate you would like it to be. Okay, that pretty much squares this up, gets this all nice and coplanar. So I will go around and snug all these down, and then I will go to the bottom side and tighten all those up against it. And that should lock us all in. So if you got anything useful out of this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like these kind of videos, we do all kinds, please consider subscribing. And if you know a friend that might be interested in this, or the router lift, or the table, maybe share it with them. But that'll be it for today, so we will catch you next time. Have a good one.